Hey everyone, how you all doing today? We are back on this beautiful Australian summer day with a whole pile of really cool things to show you. We have some development boards here, or MCUs on evaluation boards that you can use in all sorts of different ways that we're going to show you in a moment. We have some embedded displays that are based on these. We have a PCB camera that I've been sent, and I'm going to give one away to you too, so hang around to see how that giveaway goes. And then finally, we're going to have a look at some HMI displays that all integrate these sort of ESP32 or Espressif SoCs that are based on the fantastic RISC-V architecture. So before we get into it, I am going to crack this delicious beer in Grandad's road trip stubby holder, pull up the documentation for this, we'll start looking through them. Now first up, we have the ESP32-S3 Pico. So the S3 doesn't quite fit in with what we're talking about all the way. It's got two LX6 240 megahertz processors, and it does have a 32-bit RISC-V RV32 IMC 17.5 megahertz code processor that you can use in real-time applications. There's then also got 512 kilobytes of SRAM, 384K of ROM, 16K for an RTC SRAM, which is pretty cool, and it's got Wi-Fi N 2.4 gigahertz, as most of these have, Bluetooth 5, and USB on the go. So where this one kind of excels, besides its gumstick form factor, which gives you, from memory, 27 GPIOs, which is pretty bloody awesome, it has the dual-core 240 megahertz processor, and it's got this USB on the go. So if we look at the board here, we can see that we've got a CH33 4F USB hub controller up here, and then a little bit below it, we've got this CH343P USB to UART chip. So what this means is that with the hub and the USB Type-C port and the UART output on this, you can access programming, UART, and on the go all in one. It's providing that kind of multiplex functionality through the integrated USB hub. You've of course also then got a high efficiency DC to DC buck boost chip. Sorry, where is that? No, that's that one up there over in the corner. It's absolutely tiny for some reason. It really blows my mind, but that gives you 2 amps. So if you've got a 2 amp capable 5 volt supply going into it, you can tap into the V-bus interface on the side here and draw up to 2 amps for your peripheral. So you've got high power, dual core, you've got high power as in high current, you've got dual core, and you've got the USB on the go functionality. So these are, you know, combined with 27 GPIOs and an integrated Wi-Fi antenna, these are actually quite powerful. The other things that you'll see is you've got your standard boot and reset button. It's got 16 meg of flash memory on board. You've got a, where is it? There we go, an RGB LED there, which is user controllable. If we go a little bit closer, you'll probably be able to see a bit better. There we go. And of course, you're in that nice gumstick form factor. I do like these. They're quite affordable. I've got them in stock. I don't remember what the price is, but I've been playing around with these things a lot recently, which is why I wanted to show them off. But that's the S3, specifically the S3 Pico. You can then move into the S3 Zero. So you're giving up a little bit. This doesn't have that extra 16 meg of flash that they've added on. It's still got the onboard antenna, the RGB LED, 24 GPIOs still, which I believe it outlines on the back, even though some of them are just pads. But this is a much smaller form factor. It's a little bit more affordable, not that they're expensive at all. And all you're really forgoing is a USB on the go support and a few of the GPIOs. It's still dual core, LX6 240 megahertz, and you still have 24 out of those 27 GPIOs. Now I do apologize if I get the GPIO count wrong. This is all off the top of my head. I've got some very light reference documentation, but these are still very, very powerful processors. Now, they're a RISC architecture, but they're not RISC-V. They're 10 silica by what's now Cadence Systems. And it's very, very similar to RISC-V. They've taken a lot from the ISA, but it's their LX6, and they've also got LX7, which we're not going to show here, but LX6. So slightly different. Doesn't mean you can't use Arduino with it, doesn't mean you can't use ESP IDF with it, and it still supports a full range of external suites that you might use, like ESP Home, Tasmoda, those sorts of things. So those are good, but they're not my go-to, and you'll see why. These other ones have some extra awesome benefits. Now we've got the C6 Pico and the C6 Zero. So we'll start with the C6 Pico, and you can see the design here is a little bit different again. Now, what they've opted to do with this design, this is Waveshare, by the way, in case I didn't say or you didn't see the logo on the back. So Waveshare have been an awesome supporter of this channel through their LuckFox brand, but they are also something I've been using for over 15 years now. They make really, really good products. What they've done here, as you can see, is they haven't just stuck the MCU on the board like there. They've actually used the ESP32-C6 Mini H1. Now, I've used these as well in some previous videos, but the benefit is that if you're going to use this in a commercial product of any sense, you're going to need those tiny little letters on there. Those are your international approvals for a radio device. And that's why it's also got this metal case on it too. So the radio functionality of this device is already pre-approved for use. As opposed to this, you would need to get your own approvals because it doesn't have that same feature. It doesn't have the beautiful little tick marks and approvals already on there. So it fits in that gumstick form factor, which is beautiful, and you have a lot of the same functionality added. You've got your USB Type-C port there, and around that you've got a little power LED there that you can see. Let's turn it the other way up, actually. That'll be a bit better. It's a PCB trace antenna on here too, which is why the back's cut out. It's not one of those ceramic antennas. Now, I don't know the performance difference, but this is definitely bigger, so I'd expect it to be a bit more sensitive. So up here, we've got our little RGB LED and our power LED, and we still have that same 2 amp DC-DC converter. So again, if you want to tap the V bus, which goes straight into your USB power, you've got 2 amps for your external peripherals there. Now you see the GPIOs are a little bit different. Over here, you've got these E-series GPIOs. The reason for that is that it's got 20 normal GPIOs, which are highly multiplexed, and I'll stick a screenshot here if I remember. You've then got this GPIO multiplexer to add another 7, which is kind of awesome. Now, the C6 itself is a dual-core 32-bit RV32 iMac. So that gives you a 160 megahertz core and a 20 megahertz core, and these can be used for all sorts of different embedded development. You might have a primary core doing all the heavy lifting, and then a basic SPI display or something running on the small core, if 20 megahertz is enough. But you know, there's more real-time applications there. You've also got 512K of SRAM, which is pretty bloody good, 320K of ROM. These support Wi-Fi AX as well, N or AX. So depending on what your channel width is, I believe in Wi-Fi N, it can do 20 or 40 megahertz. Wi-Fi AX is only 20. It might be the other way around though. Again, off the top of my head. Still only 2.4 gigahertz. There has been discussion, and I think they might have even released something that does 5 gigahertz now, but there is actually a lot of technical difficulty, from what I understand, around creating a 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi capable embedded device like this. You've then got Thread and Zigbee support, which is the important thing about the C6. Besides being a bit more powerful, having more GPIOs, it's got Thread and Zigbee support, and of course Matter support. So if you're developing with this, you can integrate it with almost any of those standard home IoT platforms now, which is really, really handy. Now, of course, it's going to integrate with Home Assistant as well via ESP Home or Tasmoda, but with that extra Thread, Zigbee, and Matter support, especially with BLE 5.3, you have a huge range of options available now. Of course, if you don't need that many bloody expansive GPIOs, there is the C6 Pico, C6 Zero, sorry. Now, this is what I usually use. I've used these in a few applications that I'm going to show you for some very handy little projects. You see, this one doesn't have the DC-DC converter. It's got the onboard ceramic antenna, and so it's just a little bit reduced. You've got about 20 GPIOs, standard button, RGB, and it's just a good stamp-sized universal device. Lastly, if you want something that's a little bit smaller, that's going to be a little bit more cost effective, if you don't need that performance, if you don't need Thread, Zigbee, Matter, if you don't need Wi-Fi AX, because Wi-Fi N is still bloody fast, then you've got the C3 Pico. Now, I kind of use these interchangeably. They are essentially hot swappable. This one, well, I guess that's because I'm not using any of the features of this one, although I'm using the Bluetooth in something newer that I'll tell you about, but this still has Wi-Fi N 2.4 gigahertz, BLE 5, and it's a single core 32-bit RISC-V processor, 160 megahertz still, so you've got plenty of wiggle room as far as power goes, 400K of SRAM, 384K of ROM, 8K RTC SRAM, and about 20 GPIOs there, which for the most part is pretty fine. Now, these come in at a few dollars, and they're that stamp-sized form factor, which means they're kind of a bit of a fit anywhere model. And let me show you what I mean. I've made some things just this week with these that I'm now using around the house. Just a quick one. Before we do go any further, I want to thank PCBWay. They are continuing to support this channel. They're a great long-time partner of this channel, and they continue to help you out. There is a link below that you can click to get $5 off your first order. Now, if you're doing a prototype, it's only $5 anyway, so you just pay for shipping, which is really good. They've of course got big Christmas sales on, and they've got competitions that they're constantly doing. So if we have a look here, they've got a mascot design contest where you can win $500 in cash. So I would thoroughly recommend, we don't even need that camera there, do we? I would thoroughly recommend you go and have a look at these competitions that they do if you're really into 3D printing in this case, or if you just want to get some PCBs designed like these awesome little things we've been looking at. In a previous video, I made my own. I actually used the Mini H1 SoC and I attempted to make my own. Now they're okay, they didn't work great. I'm going to do better in the future, but those were made by PCBWay because they're just excellent. They sponsor this channel, they make great products, they have fantastic competitions and prizes, and $5 off the first order that you're going to place using the link below. Thank you, PCBWay. Now, as far as these go, as I said, I've made some cool stuff with it, and the two main ones I've been using this week are these. So for this one, I've got a C6 Zero, which is overkill. For this one, I've got the C3 Zero. Now, I should have swapped these around, but I literally... Oh, OBS, how I hate you. I didn't realize that for 32 minutes I've been talking and it hasn't been recording. It says it was recording, but it wasn't. So as I was saying, I really should have grabbed the other ones for these, but I just had them in a container, grabbed them out, soldered them together and started using them. And what I've built is two little sensors that are very handy. So the first one is just two of these with a BMP, or I've only got one here of course, but with a BMP 280 on it. And that can pick up the barometric pressure and the temperature. I've configured the offsets to match what, you know, the known values here are. If you look closely, you can see I've just lined up the GPIOs for the 3.3 volt power and the SDA and SCL lines, and then manually run that ground. Now this just turns on, it's got ESP home on there, and it logs the temperature inside and outside my house because I've got two of them. And then I might do something cool with it. I might put like an IR LED so I can remotely turn off the air conditioner, or I can automatically turn off the air conditioner if need be. There's all sorts of little things I could do, but so far this has been handy because we're in Australia and it's getting hot. Now, if anyone's going to tell me to slow down, no. I'm a busy man, I've got things to do. If you can't understand me because I'm Australian, turn the closed captions on. They're generally pretty good. I make sure I edit them, or I get Claude to edit them. But otherwise, down there-ish roughly, there's a little cog button and you can set it to 0.75x. That might work a little bit better for you. The next thing I built was this. Now this came out of necessity, and I should have done it a long time ago, but I only thought of it recently. This looks for my stolen e-scooter. So a couple of weeks ago, my partner and I had our two e-scooters stolen, which is really unfortunate because they went down our side gate and came into our property to steal them. And it's $3,000 I can't justify spending to replace them. So what I figured out is that when we were riding them, the little Bluetooth light is always flashing. I think it's looking for that pairing. When you open the app can pair, and then the Bluetooth light goes solid. But I think it's constantly sending out beacons, and that MAC address is still in my phone and my partner's phone. So I've grabbed the MAC addresses, grabbed this C3 Zero, soldered on a speaker from a computer, just a basic, 10-cent BIOS speaker, and had Claude write some quick Arduino code that just scans 4 times a second for the Bluetooth MAC addresses that we know, and starts beeping when it finds it. So it boots up, tries to join Wi-Fi to get NTP date, makes 3 beeps or so we know it's online, and then it starts scanning 4 times a second. When it picks it up, it makes a noise, and then the closer it is, or the lower the RSSI, the higher pitch the noise it's making using PWM. Now, it can scan for multiple MAC addresses as well, so it's looking for both our e-scooter MAC addresses. I reckon they're gone. I reckon they've been sent to a chop shop and they're long gone now, but I do want them back. They were really cool. So this is going to be everywhere. I'm going to make a couple of them. We're going to have one in each of our cars. I'm going to put one at my workplace out the front, just kind of in the roof space that can send me a push notification. And I'll put one at home in case it was a neighbor's arsehole child that stole it and they come past. But it is pretty simple. This code for these things I'll put on GitHub as well. So I might create a repo called ESP projects, because it is very useful. I'll make the time zone, the Wi-Fi network, and the MAC addresses user configurable and share it with you. You just need Arduino IDE and the ESP32 boards manager entry to use it. Now, as a proof of concept, what I've been doing for testing, because I obviously can't actually use my scooters, is I've put my AirPods MAC address in there. Now, if we plug it in, it joins the Wi-Fi, gets NTP date, and it's going to beep at me. The reason that I want the NTP date is because it is logging. Every time it detects it, it logs its MAC address, the timestamp, and the RSSI to the log file. So if we need that information for whatever reason, it's there. Now, turning that on, grabbing my old AirPods, opening them, and hitting the pairing button, I'll do it over here, it's detected it. Low tone, it's close. Oh, it's a bit varied as the signal varies. The lower the tone, the further away it is. So if we put it a bit closer here, after 3, the average increases, definitely close. Might even get real loud now. No, I'm still a little bit of work in progress. Main thing is it detects the MAC addresses, and this took me an hour or two to knock up. Bit of heat shrink, speaker I had laying around, Claude coded it for me, and I just hit the go button. That is a very simple, very excellent example of what you can do with these ESP32s yourself. There is, of course, some more commercial options like these Athom plugs. I have heaps of these. I'm going to make another video just about them because I've got some more Athom products on the way. This is one of their original variants. So if I can get the bloody thing out, this one I've disassembled when I'd found a bit of a fault with them, but you can see it's a pretty standard and pretty nice design really. They've got bad autofocus. They've got a relay over here. They've got some obvious power and temperature protection, user button, LED, external memory, nice separation of the high and low voltage components. And then this ESP32-85, which is the next one up from the ESP32-C6 from what I understand. Not quite an ESP32, but still really cool. And that just slots in there like that. And I really like that design, sort of along the bottom. And then you've got this beautiful 40mm by 40mm smart socket that can run Tasmoda or ESP Home or anything else you want to program this Espressif controller with. Can run locally, it doesn't need the cloud, but it supports Apple HomeKit and all those wonderful things. And user configurable button and LED. So they're very, very open. All their code's online. I'll link to the GitHub repo and I'll do another video about this later on, but I'm using these to monitor the power in the house. I've so far found that one side of my house is a few volts lower than the other, which means I need to get the Sparky out to run some better cable. I've also configured it to send me push notifications when the power goes out and automatically shut down my computer and my NAS and everything like a better UPS would, but I don't have a big network connected UPS. So there's some cool things that you can do with these very, very basic units. Athom.tech, they're on special now. Go and support them because they're a good company, and I'll make a video about these when all the new ones arrive and I'll show you how to do all that cool stuff. So now I'm going to make sure OBS is still recording. I'm going to grab another cold beer because it's getting warm and this has been a longer video than I hoped. And we'll get on to 2 more products using ESP32s that excel at the use case of an ESP32. So you'll see how they can be used in a commercial application with a display. Hold tight. The next thing we're going to be looking at is the UniHiker K10 from DFRobot. DFRobot makes some awesome products and they have some great documentation and reference code. I absolutely love them, so I have to thank them for sending this for free. Now, if you've seen a fair bit of this around on YouTube recently, it's because they just emailed everyone and was like, hey, fill out this Google Docs form or Microsoft Forms form. We'll send you one of these for free. Just do something on social media with it. And I said yes, and then I didn't. And it's just been sitting there. So everyone else has beaten me to the punch, but I thought it's a good way to wrap up the year. I've got all these different Espressif related modules and displays and products that are worth looking at, and this fits in that category. So let's have a look at it. Now, it's not a full normal unboxing because I've already actually unboxed this when I thought OBS was recording. My apologies for that. There is a very nice USB Type A to Type C cable that not only feels like good quality, but if you have a look in there, it's also USB 3.0, not 2.0. So we know it's going to have power and data, and that is pretty neat. Comes with a little Velcro strap too. Now this is the UniHiker K10, and God is it beautiful. I really like the way that this thing's made. So we've got a nice matte finish display with a metal enclosure. On the back, you can see we've got a variety of interfaces. Now, you know their documentation is going to be good as well, but we also have this interestingly familiar looking connector. Now, I've never done a video on it, but a couple of years ago, I was at EduTech in Sydney, and since I flew there to start with and paid to get in, not just took the free entry, when I asked them if I could have one, they gave me two. And I should make a video about it, but I didn't. I just took it home and it's been sitting there, and that's because I didn't say I was going to make a video. I just wanted to twiddle with it. And one of the things about this is that connector, which is actually pretty awesome. And as you can see, it's a little bit familiar. And that's because these are designed for education. These are a fantastic product for exploring AI. If you want to get into vision, voice, and machine learning, this is probably the way to go. This is kind of your entry to embedded programming or microcontrollers. These things are absolutely awesome. If you've got a kid around the age of 10 that wants to get into embedded development or software development or anything like that, get them one of these. If you want someone that wants to get into machine learning or AI, and again, if they're going to be maybe 12 to 15, this is the perfect thing for them. I mean, even if you're in your late 30s, this is the perfect thing for me, and I'm going to use this to do some pretty cool stuff with. I'm not sure yet. But if we have a quick look around what's on here, reset, button A, button B, I2C interface, battery interface, SD card slot, 3 RGB LEDs. We've got some more storage there by the looks of it. We've got a speaker that's connected so you can plug your own speaker in. Display interface there, camera interface there, camera, boot button, USB port. ESP32-S3, like we've just been looking at. Now, this is obviously a bigger one. Got a PCB antenna there. That's going to have some more RAM or flash or something under there. Now, this, as I said before as well, also has those ticks that we want. So this is pre-approved for most users. We have 2 additional interfaces there, so P0 and P1. And then on the front, if you have a look at the top, let's get a little bit closer on this. And you can see along the top, we have a microphone. We've got probably a BMP280 again. That's a temperature and humidity sensor. We have a light sensor there, and then we have another microphone. So this is a kind of everything in one product for exploring these vision models or use cases. And if we plug it in, we'll get a good look at that. So I'm going to put 5 volts straight into it, let it boot up here. This comes pre-installed with 4 types of vision AI models. So it does face detection, cat/dog detection, motion detection, and QR code detection. And as you can see, it boots up. It's a little bit hard to show with the brightness here, but you can see there. So if we hit one of the buttons, we've got the camera. Now, you don't need a massive amount of resolution for machine vision. You don't actually even want that, because you got to remember the computer's going to be processing those pixels. So we have a camera on the back that can recognize cats, dogs, faces, QR codes, everything like that, which is definitely awesome. We then have this thing. Now, this is kind of cool. If I can get a spot where you can actually read it. Oh yeah, that'll do. So, Jarvis, turn on the lights. Look at that, RGB lights are on. Jarvis, turn off the lights. Jarvis, play a game. Jarvis, play animation. Look at that. So this is all on board. There's no cloud. There's no privacy concerns. This is all being managed by the ESP32-S3 that we're looking at. All on this processor. Voice recognition, object detection, object recognition, motion detection, QR code decoding and recognition. This thing can actually do a lot, and it's really limited by only your imagination. You've got light, temperature, humidity sensors. You've got 2 mics, 2 buttons. It's got an accelerometer. I forgot about that. You've got a screen, SD card, 3 RGB lights, speaker, battery support, and it's got your microbit edge connector there. So very, very good learning tool. Very powerful device that you can do a lot with, all powered by an ESP32-S3. Absolutely phenomenal. So let's stick that one away, and we'll get on to the last product and the giveaway. Now, if you watch this much, you either really want the giveaway, and trust me, it's cooler than it looks. They need to redesign the box. I'm going to let them know. or you really like my content. So I'd thoroughly encourage you to like and subscribe. You gotten this far, just hit the bloody button. It's hugely, hugely helpful. I cannot stress that enough. If you want to go even further, leave a comment below. I'm happy to do a dedicated video on any of these specific technologies if you want to see it. This one is another HMI display that has a variety of embedded processors you can use with it. 7-inch HD Pro panel from Electro. Now, PCBWay, don't hate me, please. They do compete a little bit because these guys do PCBs as well, but they also make Crow panels. And they make some cool, fun Arduino robot kits and whatnot that we've seen before that I've had a tinker with. This is something a little bit more deep. It's a bit more embedded. It's a bit more capable. So we'll get into that. But first of all, Apexel reached out. They make this really cool thing that they thought that'd be useful for some of the design I've been doing. So if I grab one of my projects, I've got one over here, something I've been working on. Yeah, there we go, Deep Sleeper. So working on a PCB can be a little bit challenging because they're obviously quite small and you're dealing with tiny traces and components and whatnot. So you've got that Apexel 3-level adjustable phone microscope up to 180 times. It's not just for PCBs though, it's for pretty much anything. And this is what it looks like. So you've got 3 different lenses and it just clips onto your phone. It's got a pretty strong clip there. I know it's got a standoff, that would be why. USB charged, and it's got a UV light as well. So if you want to verify banknotes and that sort of thing, there's some pretty good functionality there. Let me show you what it does and what it looks like, and then I'll tell you how you can have one. Now, using it's pretty, oh, you can see my little IR LED on the phone. Using it's pretty simple. It literally just clips onto your camera, as you can see. It's got a built-in battery, so USB Type-C charging, and it's got a few different lights. So if we hold this button for a tick and turn it on, you can see we've got the UV lights, we've got a warm light, which comes in halves, and then we've got a cool light, which also comes in halves. Now, if we go to the cool light, we can then turn the brightness up. We've got 3 stages of brightness. You've also got this rotationary device that changes your magnification. So we've got it set to 40x now. You can see it sitting in front of my camera. My camera lens is a little bit dirty, but that's perfectly fine. I'm just going to set my camera to 2x so it fills it up. And I think that personally looks pretty good. And if we bring a PCB in front of this, we can generally get pretty close and get a good idea of what's going on there. So that's giving us a really, really impressive level of detail already. However, we don't want just 40x. We want to go 80x. Now, if you start looking at maybe some of my hand soldering over here, let's see if we can give you a bit of a better view there. Wish I could put this microscope on the camera that you're seeing, but that is beautifully detailed. So I can see that very, very clearly, as you should be able to too. But what if I wanted to look at some of these traces? We have this other way around, 120x, and this is where it gets kind of insane. And I'll put some screenshots up here. You have to get pretty close, and you can see, you start to see real detail. That is ridiculously close and detailed, and it has its own light. So yeah, Apexel make these, and they are very cool and very handy. So they sent me one for me to have, and I'm going to give one away as well. What I'm going to do to give this away is use the most upvoted comment. So yeah, you can probably cheese it if you wanted to, but please try not to. Be a good person. It comes with a nice little bag. It comes with a USB cable. They are very handy. So leave a comment below with what you would do with this, what you would use it for. Keep it PG rated, please. And then if you don't have a use case for it, upvote the comment you like. Once you've left your comment though, go and get your mates to upvote it. And 1st of January, so after the holiday season's over, the top comment, so it's 1st of January Australian Western Time, the top comment will get this posted to them. I'm going to cover shipping. I'll comment on your comment and let you know that you've won. Email me, I'll send it to you. If you don't respond in 3 days, 4 days, someone else will get it. But let me know. And really look forward to seeing what ideas you'll come up with. Thank you, Apexel, for sending this. Link in the description if you want to buy one. And you'll probably see it in future videos. Now, as much as I wanted to show off the Crow panel today, I have run out of time, like really run out of time. I forgot about all the other things I need to do, started playing with that, got distracted, day's gone. So that's going to be a separate video. I do apologize, but you can still get the giveaway. There's more ESP32 stuff coming, like the P4 Ethernet, all sorts of awesome products like that. So thank you again to DFRobot and Electro and Waveshare sending all of those products for us to test out. Thank you to PCBWay for continuing to sponsor this channel. So again, link in the description below, $5 off your first order, big Christmas sales, just pay for shipping if you're prototyping. Enter this 3D design contest. If you've got a 3D design, like you could use Fusion 360 on the computer, you could use Blender, there's a whole pile of options there. And thank you to my patrons. In case you didn't know, I've actually got a Patreon account. Feel free to join. It starts as little as like $3 US a month just to help out, and goes all the way up to you making too much money and really wanting to support my channel. But if you want support for your SBC projects and better projects, if you want to see things behind the scenes, ad-free, that's the place to go. So thank you to my existing supporters. Thank you to all of you though for continuing to come along and support this channel. It is greatly appreciated. So I'm going to keep pumping these videos out when I get time. They're a little bit slower right now, but that's life sometimes. I hope you have a great end to 2025 and a fantastic holiday season, no matter what you believe in and what you choose to celebrate. Feel free to leave any comments below as usual. Like and subscribe, all those wonderful things. Here's to a great 2026. I'll see you all soon. Cheers.